the floor open for question and answers. So hi guys, I am Vani and I am the Climate Program Manager at WeNaturalists. So I would be hosting this webinar. I will set some context to what we are talking about today. And then we have two guests who would be joining us shortly. We would have Prachi, who works in marine conservation. Okay, we'll shortly come to you guys as well. Just let me complete this. So we'll have Prachi, who works in marine conservation. She has been a conservationist for past 12 years. And we will have Rohan, who is a green entrepreneur who has just started his journey as a green entrepreneur, and he is the founder of Wibhoo, a sustainable lifestyle platform. So I guess Prachi is already here, and I think Rohan would also be joining. And I think, guys, what we can do is that maybe we can have our videos on. So maybe we can mute our audio so that the noise in our backgrounds doesn't disturb each other, but maybe we can have our videos on so that the conversation becomes much friendlier and easier. So what I'll try to do is that I'll try to use a mix of English and Hindi both, but in case you want any specific language, you can let me know. Okay. Any questions so far? I saw somebody who was raising their hand. Hi, Prachi. Hi. Welcome, Prachi.
Evening.
Good evening, Prachi. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. So, guys, any questions so far? Anything that you want to know what we are going to do or how we are going to do? Okay, then you can let us know. And of course, you have the option of chat. If there are any questions, you can type them out in your chat box over here, or you can always raise your hand on Zoom. If you see there is like a reaction box at the bottom of your Zoom bar, you can click here and raise your hand, and we will know. Or once we have completed, you can.
Director who looking club.
Okay, just one request, please keep your audios on a mute so that the noise doesn't disturb us. And on that note, maybe we'll start as we are almost 36 people in the room. Great. Okay. So guys, I'm hoping all of us here are very, very interested in green careers, and that's why we are here on a Friday evening, listening to me instead of partying. So we'll try and make it as fun as possible. And Pratyush has a question. Yes, Pratyush, please go ahead. Okay. I the hand has disappeared. No problem, Pratyush. If you want to ask anything or comment anything, you can write it here. And yeah, I'll shortly start sharing my screen. No problem, Pratyush. And we'll talk further. Okay. And I won't take much time here. I'll try to wrap up as early as possible so that Prachi and Rohan they get more time to talk and you guys get more time for question and answers. Okay. Okay. So the biggest question, why we are here? I guess at some point all of us are worried about what is happening to our planet. I think maybe some of us are concerned that what is happening is not exactly right. We see the global warming is rising, the global temperatures are going up and up. Our climatic patterns are getting disturbed more often. We are losing our biodiversity. And I think at some point we know that it's not all good. This is not something that we want our future to look like. So yes, in a way, we are talking about climate change. And I would say it is also very disturbing. It's very scary to think of, oh my God, is it all doom and gloom? Is my future looking like a doomsday? And I would say that's not exactly the case because whenever there is a challenge or a problem, there is also an opportunity. So today we are talking in opportunity in climate change in the form of green career options that would be coming up. So we'll try to have this talk on a very, very optimistic note. So let's talk about what does it mean exactly to have a green career. So green career, you can have a green career in many ways. You can have a green job, you can be a green entrepreneur, or you can be somebody who really want to upskill yourself in something which is like a green field. Like Prachi is doing her PhD in marine conservation. Rohan is a green entrepreneur. So there can be different ways of upskilling yourself, of building a green career. And I feel the biggest question that comes is why to have a green career at all? Why not to choose like a regular career option? And in future, we'll also talk about how every career can be a green career. I would say green opportunities are expanding. I was just talking about, I was just listening to a survey which said that by 2050, we'll have about 35 million green jobs. So it's like there are a lot of green jobs coming, but this is not something which is being commonly taught at our schools or colleges. So there is a lack of supply, but more of a demand in the job market, and this job market is only going to grow because all these companies, they have their net zero targets. India also has a net zero target by 2070. So because of this, a lot of policy regulatory changes will come up, which will give a lot of impetus to these jobs, which would mean more and more opportunities. So at some point, as young people of today, we need to be prepared for the job markets which are coming up. It's a noble profession. Who doesn't want to have a positive impact on the world while pursuing a career and earning money, right? Again, I would say for some of us, it's a passion. I'm sure Prachi is really passionate about working in the field of marine conservation, and that's why she's doing it. A lot of us are very passionate about wildlife photography. We love going on. We love nature. We love hiking. We like jungle trails. So it's a passion towards nature which asks us to work in this field. And I would also say the field is pretty global. If you see the kind of green jobs there in India, they are very similar to the kind of green jobs that are there in US, of course, with some different of context. But again, the field is universal because every country, like I said, they have their net zero targets, and there is a lot of pressure on countries to meet their net zero targets. And you would see we are having COP29, which is about to begin soon. So every year COP happens so that we can do like a stocktail of what's happening, what progress we are making. So as climate movement becomes bigger and bigger, the opportunities become more universal. So before we go ahead and talk about what does a green career look like, let's have a look at what a green sector can be. And when we say green sector, it might look like that, hey, green sector is maybe something simpler, but in a way, I would say the field of climate action or green sector, it's really vast. There are so many things that you can do in the world of climate action as a green professional. And I would say it takes us some time to think and reflect and figure out what do we exactly want to do. So these are some of the fields where you can actually work in, but there are so many different fields which are coming up. Like, for example, these days, there's a lot of focus for AI to become energy efficient. So this is not something that I have mentioned, but yes, the voice for AI to become more energy efficient is growing and growing. So these are fields which we see around ourselves. So we know the problem of waste in India is so big, especially in India. India is the second largest waste generator in the world, and almost 90% of our waste is mismanaged. So again, waste is something where a lot of impetus of government is coming up. So waste management, I would say, as a sector is gonna grow, and especially with a lot of private money coming in, a lot of public-private enterprises coming in. There's a lot of impetus on efficient waste management. Again, coming to energy, I would say as we plan for the green transition on net zero goal, the biggest impetus is on energy. We need energy transition. We need clean energy to work with. So again, green energy is a field which is there's already a boom. I mean, energy boom has already been there. India is one of the biggest countries in the world where we have successfully managed to get around 40% of our electricity from clean sources. And that I would say is like a really big achievement as a country. Regenerative agriculture. Food is essential for all of us. And if you know the problems with traditional agriculture, for example, there are so many pesticides in the food we eat. Our farmers don't earn enough money. Our agriculture is so prone to climate disasters. Our agriculture is still not climate resilient. So again, regenerative agriculture which can be more climate resilient, food can be healthier and more evenly distributed for all of us. This again is a field where a lot of government money, policies, private work is coming up. And water management. So, water is so essential for agriculture, and we have limited water resources, especially for a country like India. We are still agrarian economy. So for us, efficient water management is something that government pays a lot of attention to. So these are some of the bigger fields where a lot of work is already happening. But other than that, there are so many other things which are coming up. For example, ecotourism, sustainable, just a minute. Sustainable transportation, EVs, again, as the taxes on petroleum go up and up, even the government is trying to reduce our dependence on imported coal and petroleum and give more impetus to EVs. Urban planning, aquaculture, you can also be a climate educator, land management. So these are so many different fields, and these are some of the traditional fields that I have listed here. There is so much that is already happening. For example, corporate sustainabilities are all different roles. So you have ESG, you have corporate governance, you have greenhouse gas accounting. So I would say the field of climate action, the field of green professionals, it's so vast that you would actually have to sit down and think for yourself that where you actually want to make a difference. Okay. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can stop me and I can answer those, or you can, always type in the chat box here. And like I said earlier, there are two ways of being a green professional. You can either be a green job seeker if you want to do a green job to begin with. Yes, you can, of course, look at the opportunities where you want to apply, or you can also be a green entrepreneur. Rohan is here. He will talk about his entrepreneurship journey, that how he started as his journey as an entrepreneur. And while we are talking about entrepreneurship, I found this really interesting survey, and this was done by a very, very credible institute, which is the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, one of the highest rated B schools in the world. And they say that at least 60% of consumers in India, they are willing to pay a premium for planet-friendly products. And despite the fact that we think that, hey, Indians are really stingy consumers, we would fight for 5-10 paisa and 5-10 rupees, but that's not the fact. Consumers do want eco-friendly products and goods, so there's a ever increasing demand for these products. I saw a hand being raised. Does somebody have a question here? No? Okay. Let me know if there's a question, or I will go ahead. Again, some of the sunrise industries that I spoke about, sustainable transportation, electric mobility, farm fresh food, farm to fork business models, again, cruelty-free cosmetics. These are some of the regular FMCG products that you see all around yourself. And coming to who are these green professionals, I would say green is more technically a lens. You can be pursuing any job and have this lens of green and try to figure out that how your job can be a green job. If you really want to delve deeper into this, there is a very interesting resource called Project Drawdown. Maybe once I'm done talking, I'll share the resource with you. It's called Project Drawdown, and they talk about a guide that how you can make every job a green job. Whatever job you're pursuing today, how you can make it more climate friendly, how you can make it more planet friendly, how it can be more environmentally friendly. So there's a lot of scope for taking action at wherever you are today. And of course, you can choose some of these very, very specific career options and plan to pursue your career there. So if you have a background in engineering, you can be an environmental engineer, you can be a conservationist, a biologist, you can also work in public policy, define the policies that are impacting our country's net zero goals. There's a lot of focus on green finance because we need more and more finance into climate action. So yes, green finance again is a field that how do we actually get this money to work on climate? So green finance again is a field where a lot of people are looking at. And like I said, that you can be from any background. You might be studying something which not exactly have an element of environment or climate, but yes, when you do your job, you can figure out that, hey, how do I make my job which is more in tune with India's net zero goals, which is more in tune with what the consumers want, or which is more friendly towards our planet. And I'll also show you a video which will kind of detail out what I'm trying to say. And because all of these larger corporations, just like countries have their net zero goals, these net zero goals are passed on to corporations and companies as well. So if you see a lot of these big organizations, and nowadays even smaller ones, especially the ones like Coke, P&G, Unilever, they have their own net zero plans. Microsoft has their net zero plans. Google has their net zero plans, and some of these plans are very, very ambitious. So they have their own sustainability teams, and their sustainability teams are really, really big, and they do a lot of work in the background to ensure that how do these organizations become, and how do these organizations reach their net zero goals. So it's one way to work with one of these bigger organizations, or as you know, there are already a lot of big not-for-profits working in this field, like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or WWF or Friends of the Earth. So you can work with one of these high impact NGOs as well, or of course you can start something which can be your own green enterprise, just like Rohan did. And like I said before, there are so many different ways of working in this field. There is just no one single definition of what a green professional looks like. So for example, you can be a climate communicator. So do check out this person called Rohan Chakravarti. He publishes this strip of comics called Green Humor. So he tries to bring a lot of humor in his communication in talking about climate, and he's a really, really popular climate communicator. So yes, if you're very creatively inclined, you can look towards climate communications as an option. Again, Latika Nath, who is called Tiger Princess of India, she works in conservation. Then Ather Energy, Ather, one of the largest companies for EVs in India. Tarun, he's the founder of it, so he is a green entrepreneur. There's also a lot of ways for doing climate activism. For example, our own Indian great artist Priya Kangujam, who is a 10-year-old from Manipur, raising her voice for climate action. So there are so many different ways, from working in communication to being an entrepreneur to working in conservation to be the climate activist. There are so many different ways of making your voice heard and pursuing what you want to do. So that was a bit of context setting before I pass it on to our guests. There's just one video that I really wanted to show you before I move on, and then I'll pass it on to Rohan and Prachi. Okay, just let me know if you can hear the sound of the video. People
often ask me what they can do to help address the climate crisis. But what they usually mean is, what's one quick, easy, simple thing they can do? Well, that particular ship has sailed. The climate challenge is gargantuan, thanks largely to fossil fuel executives and the PR firms and politicians doing their bidding. We need to eliminate greenhouse gas emissions from electricity, transportation, agriculture, industry, and buildings. We need to protect and restore ecosystems. We need to change society, policy, economy, and culture. This is about transformation, and the stakes for humanity are greater than my heart and mind can fully fathom. So I find the best way to cope with this is to avoid dwelling on the terrifying scientific projections and instead pivot quickly to solutions. Now, the climate movement and the media all too often ask each of us to do the same things, to vote, protest, donate, spread the word, lower our carbon footprints. That term, by the way, carbon footprint, was popularized by fossil fuel corporations in an attempt to put the blame on us as individuals. But yes, it is good to do those things. I do those things. However, all too rarely are we asked to contribute our special talents, our superpowers to climate solutions. And what a failing, for that would actually enable the radical changes we need. So, where do we each begin? Here's my best answer.
विवेक आप गए नहीं सर वो बेटी का टूर्नामेंट
A Venn diagram. The first circle is, what are you good at? What are your areas of expertise? What can you bring to the table? Think about your skills, resources, and networks. The second circle is, what is the work that needs doing? Are there particular climate and justice solutions that you're keen on? Think about systems level changes, things that can replicate or scale, things like composting initiatives, insulating buildings, restoring wetlands, getting climate candidates elected, and electrifying everything. There are heaps of options. The third circle is, what brings you joy or satisfaction? There is so much work to be done. Please do not choose something that makes you miserable. This is the long haul, so it's critical to avoid burnout. Choose things that enliven you. The goal is to be at the heart of this Venn diagram for as many minutes of your life as you can. If you're familiar with the Japanese concept of ikigai for finding your purpose, you can consider this a simplified, climate-focused version of that. Taking this approach will enable way more progress on climate solutions than if we each obsess about our individual footprints. For example, 9 months after being inspired when I took him to his first climate protest, Boris Kentov, a financial tech executive, launched a climate impact investing fund. And honestly, I don't care if Boris never goes to another protest again. Sarah Stillman, a journalist who covers systemic injustices in immigration and workers' rights, has started including a deep and nuanced climate context for these issues in her reporting. And my own mother, a retired English teacher, became a small but mighty part of getting fracking banned in New York State and is now mothering chickens and converting her lawn into a model for small-scale regenerative farming. I call these climate action Venn diagrams, and having now seen many of them, enduring crayon versions by children, delightfully detailed versions by adults, this is one of my favorites. I have a few additional parameters to offer before you draw your own. This does not necessarily mean you should quit your job or go start a nonprofit. Quite possibly, you are most powerful in your existing roles where you already have specialized knowledge and robust networks. So how might you lean into those talents? Can you help your town, company, church, or school charge ahead with climate solutions? Because what we need is change in every sector and in every community. And be gentle with yourself on the what are you good at question. Set your insecurities aside and simply consider what you have to offer. Over the last year since I've been sharing this concept, lots of people have been drawing their own and
Okay. Guys, so she was Anna Elizabeth Johnson, and this concept of your climate Venn diagram has been taken up by it's very similar to finding your ikigai in climate action. And I really like the way she says that you are most powerful where you are. You don't really have to search anywhere outside. You all can start from wherever you are today and slowly figure out your own green careers as you go ahead. So I can share that video. It's like a 10-minute video. In interest of time, I didn't share the whole video, but you can watch it at your own pace. I'll also share the resource by Project Drawdown, which talks about how different specific career guides. So whatever career you are pursuing, how that can become a green career wherever you are. So do look at those resources. And in the meantime, Rohan and Prachi are here with us. So welcome, Rohan. Welcome, Prachi. So I guess we have around 74 really, really excited young people looking to hear your green journey, your climate journey of how you are doing, what you are doing. So I guess what we can do is that maybe, I'll give you like a couple of prompts to talk about, and then maybe one of you can start, share your climate journey, and then pass it on to the other person. So maybe you can talk about who you are, what you are doing, what does a day in your life look like? What is the impact that you think you are making? What are the highs and lows of the job that you do? What are the challenges? And if somebody wants to follow the same career path as you, what should they do? I mean, what skills should they look to incorporate or inculcate? Okay. So you can kind of build your talk on these pointers. And yeah, any one of you can go ahead. Sure,
Yeah.
Prachi.
Uh,
We can
so
hear you, Rohan, if you are starting. We can hear
okay. So I'm starting. Uh, Hi guys, I'm Rohan, and firstly, very thank you for inviting me, Vani and WeNaturalists, all the team. It's been really honor to me to be here and share my journey with you. Uh, when I first get to know about this, I felt that uh, am I eligible to share my knowledge and everything with you, because there is so much long journey ahead with me. I have just started on the journey of being entrepreneur in the green segment and the climate action. But yeah, I feel whatever the mistakes I done, whatever the experiences I have, maybe that can help you to take more better decisions and be more ready quickly about the world in the climate realm. So yeah, so my project name is Vibhoo, and maybe you know and don't know. I don't have idea what you know about Vibhoo. So Vibhoo is actually a marketplace. It's a platform for sustainable and conscious lifestyle. So that makes it aggregator and bridge between offer job like offerings, people, startups, organizations, and entrepreneurs who offer green services, green products, conscious events, and communities, and the consumers who want to live sustainably. So we are actually bridging the gap, and we are being as an aggregator to them. So the journey started with a simple question, and that what I can do. So when I was maybe I don't know what age you are, but as Vani told you, mostly all of you are in doing colleges and maybe a college student. So when I was in the last year of my college, so there is particular period of time when I thought about what to do with the life, and it has to something that create more impact. And to be honest, I don't want to end up in a job at that time. So I figured out what can I do to that create more impact, and I got to know that entrepreneurship is something that has potential to create a larger impact to the community and people. It can change lives. And from childhood, I am seeing Mr. Ratan Tata as a idol to me. Recently he passed away, and that is a very big, it's a personal loss, but such people influence me very much about entrepreneurship and doing impact entrepreneurship. So that's the way I approached entrepreneurship. And then what is entrepreneurship? When I searched a little bit, when I did dig a little bit, I get to know entrepreneurship is finding a problem. What the biggest problem in the world, and I got to know it's climate change. So yeah, that's why I ended up doing solving something that is like biggest problem in the planet, that is climate change, and solving it through entrepreneurship. When I search little bit about uh, on internet and around people, I got to know that there are amazing people who are come up who are coming up with something great, some great products, some great services, some great inventions regarding the green segment, but most of people don't know them. And this is something that people needs, this is something that planet needs in future. So that's the way I come up with the idea of creating platform to communicate their innovations, communicate their products, communicate their services to the regular people, so regular people, conscious people can utilize it, and making climate journey easy to them, and doing changing fighting with climate change easily with regular actions. So that's how Vibhoo made. And currently we are actually onboarding our vendors. We are pre-launch stage. So I have a few four founding team member with me, and hopefully within a month we will launch it in Pune city, in pilot city, and we will do more execution phases in the city itself, and then we will uh, explore the other cities as well in future. So yeah, that's the Vibhu, that's the me. Vani asked me a few questions about where I can touch the context. So day in my life. Okay. So currently it's a uh, very unplanned days happening, because I just moved to Pune and we are figuring out a lot of things here. So like it's a all total. There are meetings. There are figuring out things. So this is how my day pass. Strictly, I want to take care within the time limit. So I try to incorporate a timely structure within the day, and I try to little focus on my health as well. So I do little bit physical activity to be mindful within a day. So yeah, that's it currently happening. My day goes through meetings and regular figuring out things, because we are a pre-launch, so there are a lot of things has to figure within the entrepreneurship. Uh, I guess skill required for the profession. Okay. So leadership is something that needs to be in the entrepreneurship. Basically, entrepreneurs are the leaders. So you have to take care all of people within your organization, outside organization. You have to maintain your relationships. I don't say I'm very pro at it. I'm currently building it. I'm currently investing my time to be more like good leader, empathetic leader. So I'm learning these things with the regular experiences. The most important thing that um, I uh, I recently I incorporated, not recently, but since start I incorporated myself, that I'm being flexible about people. I'm not very constructive or very strict about mindset. So I try to listen everyone. I try to understand what they are saying. So that makes it more informative leader to me. So currently I'm building it. So leadership is something that you also um, you can also approach, and it's not about just entrepreneurship. Wherever you go, if you do a job or something, making you, if you are better leader, you can get a more higher position as well. You lead the times, and you progress within your organization as well. Uh, as my previous background is not from a MBA or a recognized recognized business school. My family is not also from a business background. So whatever I learn from myself. I learn from YouTube. I learn from internet. I learn from talking with people, meeting with people. So that makes me more adaptable to situations, and I feel it's not necessary to be to get a formal education within the business itself if you want to pursue that career, or you have to your family background should be in the business. My father is a farmer. I came from a very rural area in Maharashtra, in Kolhapur, and whatever I learn from ground, soil, and everything. So that makes me more uh, passionate about environment. So that helps actually. At initial moment, it somehow it gives you an inferior complex, but if you overcome it very nicely with talking people, spending more time with them, uh, uh, you can learn it and you can overcome it. So I did overcome my inferior complex as I had 2 3 years before. So yeah, that's it. You become flexible. You try to incorporate things in your life. Take a one step at a time, and you'll get to know about the things. Regarding the potential of a green career, I feel in the job as well and the entrepreneurship as well, there is a huge scope. You might not see it in your naked eyes with your surrounding area, but in terms of investments, in terms of B2B segment, national, international level, there is a huge scope. There is a lot of investments and funding happening within the organizations, NGOs, and entrepreneurship. So this is the best time to go for it. And I really mean it, because I'm talking with more people recently. I'm being the part of discussion group, so I get to know the vibe of how world is moving towards climate action and green careers. So even a planet and the countries needs this. So this is a perfect time to face that high tide of green careers in future. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. If you have any questions, please, you can ask me anything.
Thanks, Rohan. Guys, so I would say Rohan is a great example of somebody who was in college just like you, almost like a year back, and today he's in a stage where he's launching his own company. And Rohan is very humble. He didn't mention that he also won a grant for his organization, and now they are a team of 4 to 5 people, and they are building Vibhoo. And
Yeah,
Rohan, there is a question for you from Harsh,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think Harsh wants some clarity on what does Vibhoo do. So you might as well explain
yeah.
exactly what is
So
Vibhu's
I'm reading the
organization.
questions. Yeah. So the basically yeah, what you have mentioned is right. There are people who are offering products, services, places, or other services uh, in the segment of green and conscious lifestyle. So what we do, we act as an aggregator to them. We onboard them on the platform. We do marketing, storytelling, right where it matters most, and we them a tech ability to we give them a tech platform to showcase their offerings. So it's a four segmented marketplace basically. So it's a product is a one segment, service is another, places where you go, you physically enjoy. There are some vegan cafes out there within the cities. There are places where you can go, culturally enhanced places. Yoga and Ayurvedic treatment happens, so it's more aligned towards the nature. There are the fourth segment is more dynamic one. There are events and communities happening, workshops, programs within the realm of green lifestyle. So that's how it happens. Whatever there in the green living, in the conscious living, we offer through our platform, and regular entrepreneurs, product founders, brands showcase themselves on the platform, and we do the marketing, storytelling through social media to influencers, collaborations, and other stuff. So yeah, uh, we help them to reach right audience with their great innovations about planet.
Harsh, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So I want to clarify one thing, that is our we have a three pillar. So it's a people, planet, and prosperity. So we keep these three pillars alive while doing anything regarding our operations. It must satisfy the sustainability of planet. then wellness and mindfulness of people, and prosperity of those who offers such kind of offerings. So yeah, we keep these three pillars alive while doing our operations and making anything regarding the executions. Do you
Uh,
have Instagram? Yeah, we have Instagram page. Currently, we are very basic about the Instagram page, but we will soon do more activity about it. But yeah, we have it, and uh, we will start soon content creation on the page. We do have website. It's a demo marketplace, so you can go there and check out. It's a wibhoo.in, so you'll get more idea about it.
Maybe Rohan, you can share the link with people in the chat so it will be easier
Yeah,
for them to access.
yeah.
And if you want more followers for your Instagram page, so that's a great option, guys. Do follow Rohan. I'm sure he would be launching very cool products and services very soon.
Absolutely. Even I am starting soon content creation by myself to build how I'm building the Vibhoo. So that will help inspire and know more about how startup journey works.
Thanks, Rohan. Thanks. Uh, cool,
And
guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to mention the fellowship part that I get and grant I got as you mentioned, Mani. So there are a lot of fellowships in the green segment you can approach to. Within the entrepreneurship itself, there are huge pool nationally, internationally. I got to know we naturally through one entrepreneurship program as well, Climate Kranti, and it's a really good. It was really great to me because I got to know more people through it. So such fellowships are there. I did B Visioners Mercedes-Benz Fellowship last year. So I got grant from there. So there are huge grants, fundings, and investment opportunities as well for the green entrepreneurs. You just have to be clear about what you are offering, what your product look like, and there are basic questions that you need to be clear about yourself. That's it. Anything else?
Thanks, Rohan. Okay, Harsh
Yeah.
is asking, what does Vibhoo stand for?
Oh, wow. Thank you for asking that question because a lot of people ask that. So there is a philosophy behind Vibhoo. Vibhoo, if you long form Vibhoo, it's a we imagine better home of ourselves. Home that means a planet. And if you take a literal meaning, like Vibhoo is a name of Lord Vishnu in Hindu mythology, Indian mythology, and Vishnu is a preserver of universe, as most of you know about. Shiva is a destroyer, Brahma is a creator, and Vishnu is a preserver. So, like Vishnu, we tend to preserve our planet as well. And the literal meaning, it's a Sanskrit word, so it's a literal meaning is something which is imperishable. So Vibhu stands for something which is imperishable, that lasts long, that is sustainable till the infinity. So that's the meaning behind Vibhu. Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Rohan. Thanks. Yeah. I knew that there was like a full form to the name, but didn't know that there were so many mythological connotations behind it as well. Thanks, Rohan. Cool,
Yeah.
folks. So, if there are any more questions for Rohan, you can type them in the chat box over here. And now I'll invite Prachi, our next guest. And Prachi is a really, really experienced marine conservationist. She has been working for about 15 years in the field. And I'm sure she has some very, very interesting stories to share. Prachi, are you here? Because I think Prachi might have just dropped. I could see her on screen, but okay. Let me check, guys. Give me a moment. I think Prachi just dropped, and I'm sure she might be rejoining. But in the meantime, I'll check with Prachi. Where is she? And if you have any questions, feel free to ask till the time Prachi. Okay, yes, Prachi's here.
Yeah, Prachi is here.
I think Prachi had an electricity outage at home.
Sorry for that. Hi everybody. My name is Prachi Hatkar, and I'm currently working in Wildlife Institute of India. So, being a wildlife enthusiastic, I specialized in oceanography and fishery science. So, I pursued my both undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in zoology from Mumbai University. And my academic journey has actually laid a strong foundation in marine ecology, which I have further on to through my research opportunities. And after completing my studies, I joined CSIR National Institute of Oceanography as a researcher, where I gained valuable experiences in marine ecology, intertidal surveys, coral reef ecology surveys, mangroves assessment, and various marine monitoring programs that included marine, actually environment impact assessment projects. And my fascination for the marine life drove me to seize another opportunity in Wildlife Institute of India, where I'm currently working on marine mammal, which is called as sea cow or dugongs. So for the my lifelong interest in marine biodiversity conservation has actually fueled my dedication for this project, such as sea turtle conservation in Maharashtra in my home state. And this has laid my accreditation for the National Accreditation Board for Education Training Program, that is NABIT, for the functional area expert, where I was in where I was got accredited for as a FPE, functional biodiversity expert for ecology and biodiversity in category B projects for AI with Terracon Ecotech. That was a environmental consultancy in Mumbai. So venturing deeper into the marine conservation, I joined the efforts to recover this dugongs, charismatic marine mammals, which is oftenly referred as sea cow or king of sea. So my current PhD research interest is focusing on understanding the ecology of this endangered animal, assessing the marine biodiversity, and exploring the interconnected benefits of this ecosystem conservation, connecting with the community livelihood. So, being a skilled, educated, and highly experienced professional over 12 years of experience in academia and also in corporate sector, I have a proven record in building some excellent relationships with my project volunteers, acting as a mentor and researcher. I have gained a solid technical knowledge, which I impart to my students as well. And through additionally, apart from my professional pursuit, I express my love for nature through sketching, cross stitch designing, and wildlife photography. And my ultimate goal is to conduct an independent research that can contribute significantly to the field of marine conservation and that can enrich our understandings of marine ecosystems. So, if you want to have more, you want to get to know more about my journey, there is a podcast which was done by people of nature. You can just Google it, it will come. And apart from that, if you want to learn more about dugongs, you can approach me anytime if you want to. So, as Vani mentioned, that I need to mention about what how was my journey, which I mentioned. So, typical day in my life for a marine biologist, which involves actually a mix of field work. It's not just we go for diving and don't do any other analysis or any other activities as such. So, I currently work in Gulf of Kutch in Marine National Park of Gujarat. So I start early, gathering my all dive gears and research equipments to ensure everything is ready for field work. So on the day of field, I travel to some critical dugong habitats. So this particular animal only eats seagrasses. So we travel to the various islands where I conduct underwater surveys. I assess their health of the ecosystem. So I assess how the seagrasses are growing, and associate faunas, associated animals with this particularly ecosystem, and what are the key factors which actually help to stabilize the habitat for dugongs and other marine life. So apart from that, I also document some evidences for dugong presence, such as they leave a feeding trail mark, which has been a record for species distribution. You can We can use it for the GPS tracking as well. So my part of this work is not just scientific, but it's also about understanding this ecosystem holistically and anticipating the needs of this endangered species like the dugongs. So beyond my field work, my role also involves in collaborating with the local communities and the stakeholders. So I often engage the local fishermen to understand their perspective on marine conservation. So this interactions actually help me to align the conservation goals with the community livelihood and making our efforts more sustainable and effective. So back in lab, I actually analyze the data and compile my findings into reports, aiming the guide policymakers in developing evidence-based conservation strategies. I'm also I'm a member of IUCN Commission on Education and Communication. I also focus on outreach, hosting webinars, workshops, and spread more awareness on the marine biodiversity. So my role is actually multifaceted, combining the science, advocacy, and community engagement, ultimately all aimed at safeguarding India's marine ecosystem for future generation. If you want to build a career for as a marine conservationist, what skills do we need to, you need to blend, or you need to have it, or have a update your skills as a marine conservationist. So in marine conservation, the key skill set for the are basically are a blend of some scientific, technical, and interpersonal abilities. So first of all, strong field research skills are required, especially you're working in various diverse marine environment. Suppose it's like a coral reef, so you need to have a diving certification done. So for example, I frequently conduct underwater surveys and track marine mammals. So it requires proficiency in diving. You need to operate GPS instruments. You need
भाई
to
आराम से
have
समझो दूसरा भी बैग है वहां पे
Guys, please mute your audios just in case you haven't. Sorry, Prachi, please go ahead. Prachi, you are on mute. You'll have to, yeah.
I'll just unmute. Okay. So I was saying that if I frequently conduct some underwater surveys and track the marine mammals, which requires proficiency in diving, so you can get a diving certification. So there are various dive schools. So I got my diving license for open water certification through a grant, which is Women's Divers Hall of Fame. Have every year they have a grant which is given to girls who are willing to build a career in marine conservation. So for this year, the applications have already been submitted. So it was in the September. So next year, if you want to try, I can guide you for the same. So data analysis skills is also one of the core skills which actually interprets the ecological data. So we need to identify the trends in the species distribution or their habitat health. So additionally, scientific writing and reporting is also crucial for the communicating your findings clearly to guide the conservation actions and policies. Because of the based on your findings, we can have policies or guidelines which will be actually implemented for the conservation of the species. And engaging with the local communities is also a big part of my work. So building trust with the local fishermen, for example, which actually helps in align the conservation goal with their livelihood. So making our work more impactful. So first, finally, adaptability is also key for the field condition. You can change quickly, or being prepared for problem solving in unexpected situation is very essential. If in case of challenges, so the challenges in this field include some environmental and logistic hurdles like unpredictable weather or limited visibility during underwater surveys. There is a major thing that is funding limitation. So the funding limitations can also restrict the scope of your research. So and balancing the conservation with community needs a careful and sustainable approach to ensure both marine ecosystems and local communities get benefit. So moreover, influencing the change based on your scientific finding can be slow, but requires a persistence and strong advocacy skills, I will say. And for anybody who will be interested in career path which I have chosen, I would suggest you can start getting a degree in marine biology. So there are various universities like Pondicherry University is one of the best university for pursuing your masters for marine biology as a field or related field. Get your diving certifications, which are very crucial for because for every job or the every project which is being advertised over Yeti, that is young ecologists meet and communities. So there is an email list which has been forwarded. So whatever green career options or webinars or any other project advertisement that comes up, that you can put up as the Yeti list. I mean, you can join the Yeti list, and you will get a number of emails which is related to green career field. So gaining experience through the field research, through internships and specializing in master degree is also helpful. I will say that you start with your graduation, you go and volunteer whenever you can. You need to follow your passion, what exactly you want to build your career in. So suppose you are more interested in working on birds, then you can find out who is all working on birds and what are the projects, what are the research gaps. You want to pursue your career in academia, then you have to be consistently pursuing, or you have to update your identification skills. You need to understand the voice calls of various birds and all. You need to know which are the NGOs or what are the organizations which are working for this particular taxa or animal group. You should, so that will help you. I mean, the internships and all will help you for your personal growth, which will open doors and collaborate for ongoing learning. So ultimately, the success in this field requires a blend of scientific rigor, adaptability, and a deep commitment to conservation. So anything else you would like to know from me, please go ahead.
Thanks so much, Prachi. I think your job sounds so very fascinating to all of us, in fact, waking up in the morning and going for a underwater diving. So I'm sure it must have triggered some interest. So folks, if any of you want to pursue any career in conservation, you can write to Prachi or you can write to me. I'll redirect your queries to her, or you can ask her here while she's here. Okay. Any queries so far? What's the path to get the funds if we are working under green conservation? So, Prachi, I think Gulam is asking that what are the funding opportunities in conservation?
So for funding, agencies depends on various international, WWF also gives the funds. So like they offer some small grant projects like 1 or 2 lakhs. UGC also gives a 1 or 2 lakhs project for initially for 6 months or so. So depend if you're a academic student, so your professor can get a grant and you can work as a project assistant in it for the same thing. Apart from that, so for some reptiles also, IUCN also offers some grants working specifically on lizards or sea turtles or endangered species. And also there is Habitat Trust, which gives grants to lesser known species. So these are some funding agency which you can tap in. Also, the World Bank offers some projects which are related to livelihood. You can link the livelihood, because now the hot topic is how you will blend the conservation and help the local communities to get another alternative livelihood options. So for that, if you're applying for some project, that make sure that objectives are aligned with the sustainable goals which are set. I hope that answers your question.
Prachi, I had one question for you. So I guess most of our audience today, they are already in their undergrads, and maybe some of them are in their postgrads, and they all have a background in engineering or maybe commerce. So maybe not a lot of folks have an option of, studying marine biology all over again. So, if somebody already has an existing academic credentials, what are the pathways for them? How can they pursue a career in conservation? Or what can they do
So
at their individual level?
even so for science background people, it's specifically mostly if the graduation needs to be in the science background. Even apart from that, life science students or physics students can also get a degree in environmental sciences as well, but that depends on the universities which are actually trying to put. So for many environment science universities, the criteria should be you can have a geography, or you can have a physics background, or you can have a botany or zoology or biotechnology background or microbiology background for that matter. They can get into environmental science. For pursuing a fishery or particularly very narrow down field, you have to have a degree in zoology. Even if apart from that, if you're still interested, you can still go and explore for a shore walks, just like we go for very in forest, we have a tour. So for similarly, you can go for a diving experience You can go to explore for fun dives where you can, you can actually see underwater life. It's very beautiful. So not necessary if you're not from a commerce background or engineer background that you can't contribute to this field. You can do apart from your academics also. So it's the way that what is your expertise you can utilize in this particular field. So being an engineer, you can just develop some drone technologies as well. So that way, I am not a technology expert, but one engineering can be. So one of the founder, he's my friend. So he is currently making drones, and he wanted me to be on board to, ensure that what market is there. So you can get into that also. It's not like that your expertise cannot be utilized for marine conservation. It's the way how you approach it.
So I think, guys, a lot of you have a background in technology, and I feel as conservation goes ahead, there would be a lot of junction where conservation needs technology. So you can work at technological interventions on, how to support conservationists who are working in this field. Thanks, Prachi. Any other question, guys, for Prachi or Rohan or for me or anyone? Okay. No problem. Cool, guys. Thank you so much. Before we leave, I had a couple of announcements. So this was one of the webinar that we did on green careers. What we have done at WeNaturalists is that we have created a community which is called Green Collective, and I will share the link of the community with you. So the whole intent of this community is that we will keep on sharing job openings from all the different fields across. So you can have a look at what kind of green jobs are available, what kind of green internships are available. So you can join this community. We will also keep on sharing blogs and news posts to see so that you can be updated about what is happening elsewhere. So do follow the community. It's a platform for learning support for attending other events which are there on similar themes. We are also launching a course on climate action and green careers. So if you're somebody who is wanting to delve a little more into climate change and figure out what a green career is looking out for you, you can definitely sign up for the course. Here is the course registration form. In case you need more information about the course, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Setu, or any of us in the team. We are happy to help you with it. And yeah, that was all from my end. I'm sure we'll come up with another webinar very soon on something related to climate action and green careers.
Yes,
If you want to hear about
Vani,
a special topic, yes, Rohan, please.
yeah. I want to say something about the expertise, what you have to be in the climate action. I feel there is no limit of contribute to climate or planet regarding whenever whatever you feel your work you have education with whatever you are doing currently. I did my graduation in chemistry. Whatever I currently doing is not related to my graduation as well, but it helps somehow. If you want to contribute for the planet and for the better society, you can always do that. Just figure out what you are good at and what you can do regarding the climate with your current expertise. Someone is good at data science, do focus career in data science regarding the green segment itself. Someone good at technical thing like creating tech platforms or doing something, offer freelancing services to only green entrepreneurs. So these are a lot of things that you can pursue if you want to do in a green segment and the climate action. Just you have to align your way and approach towards it. There are a lot of job openings internally within the India, international opportunity as well. Even you can approach for the conservation part as Prachi did. So yeah, there are a lot of fellowships. Go for it. Try to search, and you will get to know about it. Recently, the B Business Fellowship is currently applying. They are accepting forms. What I did. So this is also very good fellowship. If you have project, if you have current any idea, you can apply for it as well. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Rohan. Thank you so much for those concluding words. And yeah, like Rohan said, keep in mind the concept of ikigai, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what brings you joy. Like Ayana said, it's more important that what you do brings you joy ultimately. So yeah, if you further want to delve deeper down into green careers, we would be very happy to see you in one of the course which is very specifically focused on green careers. So guys, thank you so much. That was all. And I hope to see you all soon, or at least some of you in the next webinar that we do. Bye-bye.